Hello students, welcome to Vistas Learning. I am Harshita, your chemistry tutor at Vistas Learning. So we have already started off with the first chapter, right? So we have already completed a few topics in the first chapter also. So what is our first chapter? Our first chapter is solid state. So before we dive into today's topic, let's just learn what exactly is Vistas Learning. Vistas Learning is an online education platform where we strive to provide quality education for all. So we have all kind of subjective videos. So for class 11th and 12th, we have from PCMB like physics, chemistry, maths and biology. You must be following all our teachers right now, right? So if you think this is going to be useful for you all, definitely please do share and like the videos. And when you share it with your friends, there'll be always one person who would enjoy the videos and would learn a lot as well. So, sharing is one of the main thing that you can do to help others as well. Now, as I told you, the first chapter is solid state, correct? So, the solid state in last class, what did we exactly study? We studied about the number of atoms that's there in the unit cell, right? The number of atoms per unit cell. We studied about that in the previous class. So, today's class, what is the topic that we will be learning? Today's class, we will be learning about close packed structure. So, what exactly is a close packed structure? So when we take crystalline solid, okay, so the crystalline solid, whatever it is there is constituent particles, right? So in the crystalline solid, the constituent particles are usually closely held next to each other. They are closely packed, okay. So when they are closely packed, this is the property of the solid, property of the crystalline solid and the constituent particles as well, that they do not leave much gap between them. They'll try to occupy as much space possible and the gaps that is there between them will be very minute. So this kind of closely packing of the constituent particle will give rise to close packed structures. So in today's class, we will be learning how exactly the solid, crystalline solid, how the constituent particles are being arranged and how exactly does it form a close packed structure. So here, an example for you. So if I'm taking, like, imagine the constituent particles here would be the balls, okay? So here you can see a lot of different colored balls, right? And I'm going to keep a container. There's a box over here. So inside the box, I'm going to dump a few balls, okay? When I dump, you can see here, when the balls are being dumped inside, the balls are occupying all the spaces possible. They try to make sure that very little space is there between them. Even in that case, this is the space. Can you see? Right, there's very little space between them. Even in case inside the box, if I put small balls, that small balls will go and occupy all of these places as well. Okay, to the quality of constituent particles and the crystalline solid is to sit next to each other, closely packed next to each other. That's what we are going to be studying today. This is just an example for you all to imagine how exactly closely packed structures are formed. Now, how are we going to form a close packed structures? The first thing that we have to do is to arrange them in different dimensions. Okay, so first we will see how exactly close packing is done in one dimension, next two dimension, as well as three dimension. So when we see how each and every dimension the close packing is done, it is done step by step. First, through one dimension only, we can get two dimension. Through two dimension only, we can get three dimension. So step by step, we will learn how exactly close packing is done. The first, here you can see this constituent particles. This constituent particles here is closely packed. This you know, right? So when they are closely packed to one another, this is in one dimension, as I mentioned. So in one dimension, what will happen? There's only one axis. Imagine this axis is x-axis, right? So in one dimension, there's only one axis. Along one axis only, the balls, the constituent particles or the spheres are arranged. And if I take, there's one important thing that you have to remember here in close packing. That's your coordination number. So what exactly is coordination number? Now I'm randomly taking any one of the spheres. Okay, so imagine I'm just taking this sphere. Okay, so the sphere which I'm randomly choosing, the neighboring particles that is there between them, neighboring spheres which is there between them, that is going to give us the coordination number. So what exactly is coordination number? The number of nearest neighbors of a particle. So how much nearest neighbors are there in one dimension? Can you all tell me how many particles are there next to this red mark which I've marked over here, right? The red color ball. There's one, there's two. So which is the closest neighbors for it? 2, 1 and 2. So what is the coordination number of one-dimensional arrangement of close packing? It is 2. So the coordination number in one dimension would be 2. Okay, so we have understood how exactly close packing is done in one dimension. So from one dimension, the next step is how do we do the close packing in two dimension? Okay, so one dimension and two dimension, both these things are step by step. As I told you, from one dimension only we will get two dimension. Now two dimension we will get from this only. So this x-axis. So in two dimension, which other axis comes into play? Your y-axis. Okay. So here x-axis also is there, y-axis also is there. That's how the arrangement is done. So this arrangement, whatever it is done, okay, this arrangement, whatever it is done in two dimension, there are two possibilities. We can do it in two ways. So now we will see what is the first way. The first way is nothing but, so here you can see the one dimension, right? Let me just show you. Okay, so here you can see one dimension. Right below them, there's the same one dimension which is arranged. Same manner, just below them. Okay, this is one of the possibilities. You can see here. So this is one dimension, right? This also is one dimension. This also is one dimension. But all of them, when they are arranged together, we get two dimension. There's x-axis and there's y-axis. This is one of the possibilities. Now, what is this structure called as? This is called as square close packing in two dimension. Why is it called as square close packing in two dimension? Now, if we take any one of the particle, okay, as I told, I'll take any one of the particle. The particle which I take over here, imagine this is the particle. Okay. So now, what I will do is, whatever the surrounding particles, so inside surrounding this red color particle, what are the particles that is there? You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are 4 particles which is surrounding this particle. Randomly, if we take any particle for that matter also, there will be 4 surrounding particles only. And what forms over here? It forms a square, right? So the particles, the way it is arranged, it forms a square. That is the reason it is called as square close packing in two dimension. Now, this kind of arrangement. So what is the arrangement actually which is there here? What is the kind of arrangement that is here? You can see all the one dimension are same way. So if you take the first layer, is it same like the second layer? Second layer, is it same like the third layer? And third layer, is it same like fourth layer? Yes, all the layers resemble each other. There is similarities between them. So that's why it is AAA type arrangement. All of them are same. So the type of arrangement that we see in square close packing in two dimension is AAA type of arrangement. Now we already saw in one dimension about coordination number, right? So what is the coordination number of the square close packing that is in two dimension? What would be the coordination number? As I mentioned, coordination number is if you take any of the particle, okay, and then count the number of possible, okay, whatever possible neighboring particles are there, if you count how many we get, that will be our coordination number. So here, as I told you, 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are 4 particles which is surrounding one particular particle. So the coordination number would be 4. Okay. So this is one of the possibilities of close packing in two dimension. Now we shall see what is the close packing, the second possibility, okay, in two dimension. The same way, I will take the one dimension, from one dimension only, no, we will get the two dimension. So with this, how is the arrangement done? So now you can see here, there is small spaces, right? There's depressions between the particles which are arranged, right? So this depressions, in those depressions, now the second layer is placed. When I saw the first possibility, below the one particle only the second particle was placed. But here the second layer will be placed in the depression. You can see here. Inside this depressions here, whatever depressions you see, just below this depressions only, the second layer is placed. So can you tell me whether this kind of arrangement is first layer arrangement is similar to the second layer? Is it possible that way? No. We'll see why. And first, so before that, what exactly this kind of arrangement is called as hexagonal close packing in 2-dimension. Why is it called as hexagonal close packing in 2-dimension? As I told, the nearest neighboring particles which are there, how exactly it is formed? In the previous one, it was formed like a square, right? In this, how will it be formed? From the name, it will be formed like a hexagon. So imagine I'm just taking this. Okay, so when I take this particular particle or any particle for that matter, it's your choice, whichever you want you can take. What is being formed here? A hexagon is formed, right? That is the reason this kind of close packing in 2-dimension is called as hexagonal close packing. Now let's come to arrangement. So as I told you, the first layer, this would be your first layer, second, third and fourth, right? So how was the arrangement? The first layer, is it same like the second layer? No, but the first layer is same like the third layer. And when we come to second layer, the second layer is similar to the one which is there like the fourth layer. So we can see the arrangement here as AB, AB. First layer is same, third layer is same. So the arrangement would be A, A, both of them. B, B. So AB, AB kind of arrangement is found in hexagonal close packing in 2-dimension. So we finished the arrangement. We finished why is it called as hexagonal close packing. Now what is the last part left? Do you remember? We already studied this. Coordination number. So what would be the coordination number for this particular close packing? As I told, how many particles? The number of particles which are surrounding one particular particle. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Correct? So there are 6 particles which are being arranged. So that is the reason this particular arrangement is called as hexagonal and the coordination number is 6. Okay. So in 1-dimension, what was the coordination number? 2. In 2-dimension, there were 2 possibilities. In square close packing, what was the coordination number? 4. In hexagonal close packing, what was the coordination number? It is 6. Okay. So till now, what did we study? We studied about how in 2-dimensional close packing, there are 2 possibilities. One was your square close packing, where A type of arrangement was formed, and the next one would be your hexagonal close packing. In hexagonal close packing, AB kind of arrangement was formed. Here the coordination number is 6. Here the coordination number is 4. You can easily remember this, right? You just have to understand the concept. You don't have to by heart how much is there for each of the dimension, how much is there for hexagonal, how much is there for square, nothing. Here square is formed, square has 4, right? 4 sides, so 4. Here hexagon is formed, hexagon has 4 sides, so 6 sides, so it is 6. So simple. Now we finished 1-dimension, we finished 2-dimension. Now we will go from 2-dimension to 3-dimension. So in 3-dimension, the first one, there are again 2 possibilities because we have to get it from 2-dimension only, right? So in 2-dimension, we saw square close packing and we saw hexagonal close packing. From square close packing, what will we get? We will get a primitive cubic unit cell. The square close pack structures are arranged one above the other, one next to each other, and we get this kind of arrangement. This is a square close packing arrangement. This same way, because it is similar, right? The arrangement is not changing at all. It is same way. One layer just below that, the same way the second layer is placed. Now hexagonal close packing, from hexagonal close packing in 2-dimension, we'll get the hexagonal close packing in 3-dimension. Okay, this particular one is 2-dimension, but I will show you how exactly 3-dimension is formed. Okay, so there are 2 ways how 3-dimension close packing is happening. First, we will go through primitive cubic unit cell from square close packing. So 2-dimensional square close pack structures. So the first would be the square close packing in 2-dimension. From that, we will get primitive cubic unit cell. What is happening here is, this is 2-dimensional, right? So this layer is formed all the sides here. Can you see here? This is how all the layers are formed horizontally, vertically, in all the axes x, y, and z. That's why it's called 3-dimension, right? So it is found in all of these axes. But now this is one part, okay? In from hexagonal close packing in 2-dimension. This kind of arrangement, what is found, it is called as AA type of arrangement. AAA, it goes on and on. It's based on the lattice point. It is based on the crystal lattice structure. So how much of the structure is there? It's just the same way. A type of arrangement. Now, why is it called as A type of arrangement? Simple. From the image only you can understand. The arrangement is same throughout. It is not changing. The first layer, second layer, first layer to the fifth layer, second layer to the 10th layer, all of them are same. That's why it is called as what type of arrangement, students? AA type of arrangement. Now, this particular structure in 3D, whatever it is formed from square close packing, it is nothing but simple cubic lattice or primitive cubic unit cell. Okay, it's simple cubic lattice in that primitive cubic unit cell. Okay, now we will see from hexagonal close pack structures. So 2-dimensional hexagonal close pack structures. From that, how will we get a close packing of 3-dimension? This is a close packing, hexagonal close packing in 2-dimensional. So now this close packing, whatever it is happening over here, it has two possibilities. Okay. So the first possibility would be placing the second layer over the first layer. Now we'll place one layer, it's already there. First layer is already there. Above it, we'll place a second layer. This second layer placing also will happen in two different ways. So when it happens in two different ways, there are two different things which are formed. What are those? First would be your tetrahedral voids. The next would be your octahedral voids. Now, what is this voids? What is this tetrahedral voids? What is this octahedral voids? You must be confused, right? Let me just explain. Now, when this arrangement is happening, okay? Now, whatever here, the first layer is there. Above it, the second layer is going to be placed. There will be small gaps between them. Can you see those gaps here? I'll just fill it with white. Okay, this gaps, whatever it is there, these are called as vacant spaces. Okay, so this vacant spaces is called as nothing but voids. Now, the way the arrangement of second layer is done above the first layer, there will be small voids which are left. Okay, there will be two types of voids which are going to be formed. One is tetrahedral voids and the other one is octahedral voids. Now we have to understand why is it called as tetrahedral voids and how is tetrahedral voids formed, and then we will understand what is octahedral voids and how is octahedral voids formed. First, the tetrahedral void. So in tetrahedral voids, it is surrounded by 4 spheres. So the way the void is being surrounded, it is surrounded by how many spheres? It is 4 spheres. We can understand the void is actually tetrahedral void by just understanding the fact that it is surrounded by 4 spheres. Now we can see it. We saw the previous arrangement, right? How exactly in hexagonal close packing the arrangement is happening. Here there are 3 spheres, correct? So the 3 spheres has a small gap, vacant space between them. This is the vacant space. This vacant space is being covered by the another sphere. The sphere which is going to be placed from the second layer is going to be sitting in this part. Okay, when it is sitting over there, what exactly is the void which is formed over there? It is a tetrahedral void. It has surrounded the surrounding whatever it is there of the tetrahedral void is actually by 4 layers. Okay, 4 different spheres. Now, why is it called as tetrahedral void? We understood now how to recognize a void. First thing, after that we understood how can we tell which is a tetrahedral void, because it is surrounded by 4 spheres. Why is it exactly called as tetrahedral? Why is the name tetrahedral coming? If you clearly see this picture, okay, if we clearly observe this picture, here you can see the formation, what is happening here, right? Between this and these two, the arrangement what is happening, it is in the form of tetrahedron. That is the reason the void which is formed over there in that particular region is called a tetrahedral void. So now we understood tetrahedral void, right? Tetrahedral void is surrounded by 4 spheres. That's how we can get to know the voids which are formed between the layers. It's because of the tetrahedral void. The second one is octahedral voids. Now what is octahedral voids? The same way. First, in tetrahedral voids, they were surrounded by 4 spheres. In octahedral void, how many spheres are being surrounded? It is 6 spheres which are surrounding the void. Let me explain you through this picture. So here you can see the arrangement, okay, what is happening when the second layer is placed above the first layer. You can see here there are 3 spheres, above there are 3 spheres, but the arrangement how it is there is, it's in the form of triangle, right? Here, this triangle is formed this way and this triangle is formed this way. The apexes are opposite to each other. It is not same like this. It is opposite to each other. So when they are opposite to each other, there is a void formation, correct? So when the void which is formed between the two apexes, like between the triangle, that is called as your octahedral void. Here in this picture, you can see it clearly. So this particular gap, vacant space, is called as octahedral void. That is because here there are 3, here there are 3. It is surrounded by how many? Down 3, up 3, 6 spheres. So why exactly this is called as octahedral void? Like the way I told in tetrahedral void, the tetrahedron structure is formed. If you observe the structure of the way the voids are formed, the tetrahedron structure is formed. The same way in octahedral void, the structure which is formed here is an octahedron. Okay. As I told, the apex over here, the triangle which is formed here and the triangle which is formed here, both of them are opposite to each other. They are not like this, same, they are opposite to each other. So that's why the formation, what happens is in the form of octahedron. That's why the name is called as octahedral voids. We understood now what is tetrahedral void, what is octahedral void, right? Now we will see the next possibility. Okay, we saw how the 3 dimension is formed by placing by placing second layer above the first layer. Now what we'll do, we'll place the third layer above the second layer. When we place another layer, third layer above the second layer, what is going to happen? Let's see that. That also is having 2 possibilities. So what are the 2 possibilities that is there? The first one would be, we have 2 types of voids, right? When we place the second layer above the first layer, we saw there are how many voids formed? 2 voids, octahedral voids and tetrahedral voids. So hence, because of that only, there are 2 possibilities. One type of arrangement would be covering the tetrahedral voids. The other type of arrangement will be covering octahedral voids. Now we should see covering the tetrahedral voids, okay, from the third layer by the second layer. Now this is how the arrangement is going to be taking place. Here you can see this third layer, right? This is your third layer and this would be your second layer, right? The arrangement what is happening over here will be covering the tetrahedral voids. This is the type of arrangement we can see in the third close packing in 3D, okay? Here, the type of arrangement what it is there. You can see here this layer. Okay, the first layer is the same as third layer. The second layer is the same as fourth layer. So the arrangement is AB type of arrangement. The crystal lattice, whatever it is going to be formed, it is in the form of AB type of arrangement. Hence, the name is known as hexagonal close pack structures. HCP, hexagonal close pack structures, because the structure which is formed here, it is same as an hexagon. You can see here, it's a hexagon. Here, the formation of okay, here the formation of hexagonal take place. If you just cut the spheres and see, observe it properly. Imagine this is the layers, right? The layers are cut and we just take the edges of it and we see the arrangement. It is in the form of hexagon. That's why this type of arrangement is called as HCP, hexagonal close pack structure. Now this hexagonal close pack structure is usually found in a lot of crystalline solids. Okay, to name a few of them, it's magnesium and zinc. In magnesium and zinc, crystal solids, this kind of arrangement, okay, this kind of close packed arrangement, that is hexagonal close pack arrangement, is found. This is your one possibility, that is covering the tetrahedral voids. Now the next would be what? You know it already. It is the covering of octahedral voids from the third layer, covering of the octahedral voids by the third layer to the second layer. That is your second possibility. This kind of arrangement. So how was this arrangement done? You can see here, this is your first layer, second layer, third and fourth. You can see here, how is the arrangement done? Is the first layer same as second layer? No. Is the first layer same as third layer? No. The first layer is similar to the fourth layer. So, first layer and fourth layer is same, but second and third are different. Okay. So, you will just name this layer as A, this as B because it is different, the third one as C because third is also different. But your fourth layer is same. Correct? So, that is the reason A. Okay. A, B, C, different. The fourth layer and the first layer are same. Here the kind of arrangement that is happening is ABC kind of arrangement. It keeps going on. As the crystal solid is there, the arrangement keeps going on. Now, what is this exactly called as this kind of arrangement? This entire structure is called as cubic lattice structure, cubic closed structure, CCP it is called, okay? Cubic closed structure. Why is it actually called as a cubic closed structure? In the previous one, we saw how the hexagonal close packed structure is. Because the hexagon is formed. Here what will be formed? A cube will be formed. That is the reason the name is given as cubic close packed structure. See, you can see here the arrangement, right? The first layer, second layer, third layer and fourth layer. If you see, that is how the arrangement is done. Let me write 1, 2, 3 and 4. Correct? Now, the first layer and fourth layer is same. And what exactly is formed here? There is a formation of there's a formation of cube here. That is the reason in between the spheres, there's formation of cubes. Cube formation keeps going on. It is called as cubic closed structure. In which and all solids can we see this kind of arrangement? We can see it in silver and we can see it in copper. Now we saw how the covering happens. Third layer covers the second layer, covering what? The tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids. Just a recap of it. So covering tetrahedral voids by the third layer and then covering the octahedral voids by the second layer. When we cover the tetrahedral voids, what do we form? We form hexagonal close packed structure. When we cover the octahedral voids, what forms? A cubic close packed structure. Or it is also called as FCC, face centered cubic close packed structure. Okay. So this is how the arrangement is happening. This is how the two possibilities are there where we can cover the octahedral voids and tetrahedral voids. Now, there are a few things that you have to remember. So, which among this kind of arrangement, which would be the most efficient? Both these kind of arrangements are very efficient, hexagonal as well as cubic close packed structure. But almost it covers around 74%. Okay, so how much percentage it actually covers? 74% of the voids are being covered. The small spaces, vacant spaces, about 74% is covered. That is the reason both these structures are very efficient. And the coordination number. Okay, so now we have to understand the coordination number. In either of these structures, that is your HCP or CCP, in either of these structures, there's one particular sphere, any sphere if you take, the surrounding neighboring spheres, how much it will be? It will be 12. Okay, that's why the coordination number here it is 12 in either of the structures. Now, there's the next one that you have to understand. That's the number of voids filled. Okay, so now we saw how exactly voids are formed, correct? How exactly the voids are being covered also we form. Now, how do we get to know in one particular crystal solid if we take, in the crystal lattice if we also take, how exactly we'll know the voids are there, how many voids are there, how the voids are being covered, which are those voids, is it octahedral voids or tetrahedral voids, how will we know the number, exact number? We can understand that by a few facts. I'll tell you a few facts. Understanding that, we'll understand how exactly the number of voids are there. So first thing, the number, okay, in any of the close packed structure if we take, the number of the spheres, whatever the spheres are there, the constituent particles. So, imagine I'm just taking a CCP, okay. Okay, this lattice points, right? The constituent particles will be present in the lattice point. So this place is where and all there's spheres over here. Those spheres, the number of it will be n. Okay. Now, what will be the number of octahedral voids? This kind of arrangement is found throughout, right? So what will be the number of octahedral voids? The number of octahedral voids will be n. It is the same. The number of spheres, how many are there in the lattice point, that is the same as the number of octahedral voids. Now, how much will be the tetrahedral voids for that matter? Tetrahedral voids will be 2n. It will be the double. Okay, it will be double the number of the spheres that are there. This is one thing that you have to remember, and we shall solve a problem also based on this. So you will understand how exactly we can calculate the number of voids. Now, as I told you, a few things that you have to remember. So based on the formula of the compound, we can get to know how many voids are present. So based on the chemical formula of a compound, okay, we can understand the number of voids that are present. It's either way, vice versa. So from the number of voids that are present, we can even understand what is the chemical formula. We can arrive at the chemical formula of the compound. Now, the compounds, okay, the ions, whichever it is there. Now, constituent particles, whatever it is there, right? This constituent particles are being filled in the crystal lattice, correct? No, this crystal lattice constituent particles are there. It can be atoms or ions. Okay, in the spheres, as I mentioned previously, this part, okay, will either be filled with atoms or it will be filled with ions. Now, ions are bigger, okay? Ions which are bigger occupies close packed structure. So, close packed spheres, whatever it is there, that will be covered by the ions which are bigger in size, okay? The bigger size ions only covers this part. Okay, now what covers the voids? Now we know what is covering the spheres. Now what exactly covers the void? Those are the ions which are smaller in size. So the smaller size ones covers the voids, the bigger size one covers the close packed spheres. Okay, in a close packed structure, it occupies the spheres. Now, we have to understand what are the voids being filled, right? How are the different kind of voids and what kind of ions are filled. So the cations, okay, usually, okay, before the cations, anions. So anions are the ones which are bigger in size. So imagine I'm just taking a Y minus. Anions will always have a negative charge, right? So they are going to collect the electron, they're going to get the electron and they gain the negative charge and they become bigger in size. So this anions which are bigger in size will occupy the spheres. But what occupies the voids? That are our cations. So our cations are the ones which are smaller in size, and those comparatively the smaller ones, okay, those actually lose and they become smaller in size. Lose electron and they become smaller in size, right? These are the cations which are occupying the voids. Anions occupies the spheres, cations occupies the voids. Now in that also, there are different kind of voids. There's tetrahedral void and octahedral void. How exactly a tetrahedral void is being covered and how exactly octahedral void is being filled? The tetrahedral voids are the ones which are usually smaller. Okay, compared to octahedral, they are usually smaller. Here the cations, which are smaller in size, will occupy the tetrahedral voids, and the next one will be octahedral voids. So octahedral voids will be filled by the bigger cations. These cations are comparatively bigger, okay, compared to the smaller cations. These cations are comparatively bigger. So this entire thing, okay, these are a few facts which you have to understand in order to solve the problem to find out the number of voids filled. So how exactly can we know the number of voids that are being filled? Okay, so now we have a problem, right? So there is a problem in front of you. How will we understand exactly to find out the formula of the compound? Okay, so the formula of the compound, here they are given. A compound is formed by two elements, X, it is formed by X and it is formed by Y. So what is the information that they have given about the two elements? The X element is going to be, what have they told? X element is going to be a cation and the Y element is going to be an anion. Okay, and what is the other information that they have given? The Y element make CCP structure, close packed structure. That means what are the places that Y element, the atoms of Y element occupy? They occupy the spheres. As I have already mentioned, this part is there, right? The spheres will be occupied by the anions because anions are bigger in size. The same way, we can see X element is occupying what? X element is occupying the octahedral voids. Okay, so octahedral voids are the ones which are occupied by very small and cations. Okay, the smaller cations actually occupy the octahedral voids. Now we have to understand how to find out the formula of the compound. We have already learned this before, right? To find out the formula of the compound, I told you a few things that you have to remember. So the first thing would be, let the number of close packed spheres in a close packed structure, the spheres will be occupying, right? That spheres will be n. Okay. So what is n over here? The number of Y atoms. The number of Y atoms will be n. Now what will be the number of X atoms? Now there's one more information that they've given. The X atom is nothing but the ones which are filling the octahedral voids. So the number of octahedral voids from this information, we know what is the number of octahedral voids. So number of octahedral voids will be n itself, right? So both of these are same. The one more information that they have given is X element, right? X element are the ones which will be occupying the octahedral voids. So what will be the number of X element? It will be n itself. Okay, so the number of X element also will be n itself. So now from this, how can we get to know X and Y? We can understand what is the formula of the compound by finding out the ratio. Okay, the ratio between X and the ratio between Y. So what is the ratio? X is having n. Y is also having n only. So the ratio will be 1:1. So what would be the formula of the compound now? The formula of the compound is nothing but XY. Okay, so this is a simple one. This is already a simple one and you will understand. I just gave you a gist of it. Now there's one more problem. This problem, I want you all to solve it. Okay, I'll just read it out for you. I want you all to solve this at home so that when we come in the next class, I'll start off with this problem. You will understand how exactly whether your answer is correct to whatever I'm solving, and then we can go ahead with the next topic. So what is exactly this problem? I'll explain you the problem and it's left to you to solve it. So we'll get to know the answer. Atoms of the element B form HCP lattice and those of the element A, okay, atoms of the element B form HCP lattice and those of element A occupy 2/3 of the tetrahedral voids. They occupy 2/3 of the tetrahedral voids. What is the formula of the compound formed by the elements A and B? Okay, what is exactly A and B formula of the compound? B is going to be filling the HCP lattice. HCP lattice means it will be covering the spheres. You know what is the formula for that. And A will be occupying the tetrahedral voids. So tetrahedral voids means what is the formula for that? That also you know. There's a fixed number, right? That also you know. But A will be occupying only 2/3 of it. So from this you have to find out the formula of the compound. I hope I have made you understand what exactly this problem is so that you can solve it, and I want every one of you who are watching this video to solve this problem, and when we meet in the next class, we'll discuss about the answer and we'll get to know how many of you all have exactly understood this. Now we have come to the end of the session. So here in this particular topic, in this particular session, you people have already learned what is close pack structure, how exactly close packing happens in one dimension. From one dimension, how will we get a close packing in 2 dimension, and from 2 dimension, how will we get it in 3 dimension, right? So what are tetrahedral voids, what are octahedral voids? About all of these we learned in today's session. It is very, very useful and it is very important for your board exams as well. So in the next class, we will go for packing efficiency. What exactly is the packing efficiency of this close pack structure? About all of those, we shall do it in the next class. So until then, if you like the video, do like the video and share it with your friends as well. As I mentioned earlier, there's always someone out there who is in need of quality education.